Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running
Welcome everybody, it is I, Matsuda here, joined with Down B Boulevard here to cast for the first week of Premade Unstoppable. Here we have a very spicy game available for us, Hypnotic Gaming versus Tyrell's Tortugas. Heading straight into picks and bans here.
That's right, we're already starting it off hot here. We're going to see the Senna ban right away. A little interesting. I think it's just something they don't want to deal with here. Senna is in a pretty good spot right now, but little surprised to see the focus there. Tyrell's Tortugas are actually going to get rid of the Kindred right away as we're waiting for Hypnotic Gaming to ban what looks to be LeBlanc.
Yeah, Senna's been in a really decent spot. I've seen it with different picks. Wukong, we saw it on the LCS. Wukong Senna has been pulled out a bit.
True.
I guess they just want to ban that out. The Kindred ban is fine. I find it weird that they banned Sejuani here. Maybe it's in their champion pool, but if you're banning Kindred, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Usually, I think they should not have banned Kindred and just let the Sejuani to go through a ban. And they do, because Kindred like hard counters Sejuani and Gragas, those champions, because you can kite them out here. But, then again, this is probably gold plat elo, so these bans are more targeted towards champion pools. So there's something we have to consider, and that seems to be a blank ban, but according to our
Corky.
players, it would be Corky. Very interesting.
Yeah, pro draft bugs out. It happens. So we're getting through the first wave now, and Hypnotic Gaming is going to make their first pick, and they are actually reigning champs from Unstoppable Premade Season 8. So they're looking to get a good start off to this season here. We're going to see how that goes out. They're actually going to first pick the Ezreal.
Yeah, I think the Ezreal's fine. And to go on your point about Hypnotic Gaming, keep in mind they may have won the last season, but 4 of their 5 champions players are not on this roster anymore. So we're looking at a different Hypnotic Gaming. A notable player was Great Jace. Insane top laner. I've seen him in amateur for years, and that guy, he puts in a lot of work. So, gonna be interesting whether or not these fresh meat on the block are gonna be able to hold up to that standard, as we do see Twitch Lulu locked in for Tyrell's Tortugas.
And you might have heard me just kind of clenching a little bit. I was really scared it was gonna be Twitch Yumi because it hasn't been banned out, and Twitch Yumi is just so utterly obnoxious here. But Twitch Lulu, still. Yep. Pretty good here. It is really nice to have an Enchantress support with that Twitch, as he definitely does not have a strong early game, and we're going to see the response to that. Hypnotic Gaming are going to bring out the Leona, so definitely a lot of skirmishing power in lane and outside of it as well. So they're going to have to be, the bot lane for Tyrell's Tortugas are going to have to play really safe in lane, and Hypnotic Gaming are going to finish that off picking their mid laner, and it's going to be the Zoe, which is just a pretty strong pick right now. We're going to see how Tyrell's Tortugas are going to respond. Interesting that Hypnotic Gaming don't really try to fool anybody with some flex splits. It's just, nope, here's our AD carry, here's our support, and here's our mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, so far I think the draft is going all right for Hypnotic Gaming, and we do see ban Tyrell, or Tyrell's, my bad, going for the Zac pickup here. I think he's a solid jungler, definitely good in competitive vibes. He's not amazing, but I think if you put enough practice into it, it should really work into your favor here. I'm really curious to see what Hypnotic Gaming is planning to ban out. They take away the Orianna away from Tortugas.
Yeah, it makes sense. Really strong. Orianna's definitely one of the stronger mid laners in the current meta right now, and it's definitely not something I'd ever want to face in the mid lane. So it's definitely really good, and she's also a really good team fighting option in general, so it's good to just get that one out of the way. The interesting thing with the Zac pick, it could be flexed into the top, but we're going to see how this one goes. And in this last wave of bans, it seems like they are, Tyrell's Tortugas are just trying to basically target ban the jungler for Hypnotic Gaming, because except for Victor, they banned 5 junglers so far. We're going to see Hypnotic Gaming ban that Cassiopeia. Since they know mid laner hasn't been picked, they wanted to get rid of a couple power picks, but they're still going to pick up Syndra, who is honestly just as good. You try to ban as many control mages as you can, but Tyrell's Tortugas still managed to pick one up.
Yeah, and looking at Hypnotic Gaming, they do lock in the Trundle, something I kind of anticipated, but I wasn't sure if they figured that it would be Zac jungle. Subjugate, very good on tanks, very by-the-book standard. And to speak about the Syndra pick here, I think it's fine against the Zoe, right? Because it kind of it could function the same way as the Lux counter works, where where Zoe's going to teleport from her ult, so you literally just scatter to the weak in that area, you get the timing correctly, and ideally you should be winning those trades post 6 against Zoe. It's really up to whether or not their mid laner is able to maneuver that champion decently as well. So we're going to see if Capitals can pull it off here, as we do see the Gangplank holding it down top lane for Hypnotic Gaming as well.
That's right, and Tyrell's Tortuga's last pick is going to be the Zillion, and that is really interesting here. So I know for sure, I'm very confident that it's Syndra in the mid lane, Twitch Lulu bottom. So it's pretty much just the Zac and Zillion I'm a little bit unsure about. But for now, let's talk about Hypnotic Gaming's comp.
Yeah.
Really well-rounded, and it's nice because you have a lot of engage with the Trundle pillar. Even you can start off with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble if you want to, but it's really the Zenith Blade and Solar Flare from Leona. That's going to be starting a lot of your team fights, and basically Leona and Trundle are going to serve as your front line here, and that's really ideal in this scenario because you have the strong hyper carry in the Ezreal, especially as he scales later into the game. You basically just want to front line for him, and he, with those low cooldowns, is going to be able to put out so much damage here, and even the Gangplank can serve a similar purpose. And the Cannon Barrage offers a really nice disengage tool.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious how Tortugas are going to approach this game here. They have a bit of a flex. It could be their Lulu support, Zillion top, or Lulu top, Zillion support.
True.
I'm actually not very confident where it's going to go. But definitely the Zac is going to be jungle here. And you see that Hypnotic Gaming has Gangplank top. The ideal consensus with global champions on top lane is that typically you just want to camp them out, make sure they can't really impact the game despite them having a global ultimate. Mostly applies to Shen, but I can see where they could possibly apply this to Gangplank. Mm-hmm. And I definitely expect Trundle to be either ganking mid lane or bot. Not a lot of gank assistance that Gangplank could provide for you when you're playing this game here, so definitely expecting Hypnotic Gaming to maybe play for bot side, make sure that Twitch and Lulu do not get the snowball. But yeah, so far, I kind of like Tortuga's draft a little bit better. They have the Zillion ult to support the Twitch. Obviously, Lulu utility is amazing as well. Did some damage from the Syndra. But
Zillion top.
Okay.
Zillion top.
Zillion top.
You know what? I had thoughts too about how Gangplank can be a pretty safe top laner, so even if you don't give him too much jungle attention in that top lane, he should in most matchups have a pretty good time here. But against Zillion, that's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be hard to run down that champion just because, the speed boost he can give himself, even his ultimate. So it is gonna be tough for this Gangplank to really win lane per se, but he's definitely not gonna have too much trouble with the farm. Can still trade at range. And I think overall is probably going to offer more later on into the game. But you did mention it, Matsuda. The ultimate as well is available. You can use it to support either your AD carry, your mid laner.
Yeah. When
you guys get caught out. But we're going to have to see what happens after that ult is expended too. Because I still think, draft-wise, I like the utility here from Hypnotic Gaming. Again, it's very clear what they want to do here. They have a lot of engage. They have a lot of disengage as well. If you're looking at Tyrell's Tortugas, it's going to be all on Rowley, on the Zac. He needs to set up some really important plays. A, to start off ganks. B, to start off team fights outside of this laning phase here. He's really the only one to look at. If he messes it up and you don't have Scatter of the Week, Tyrell's Tortugas are going to be just kind of hanging back, waiting for those cooldowns to come back.
Yeah. Once again, sometimes draft doesn't necessarily define who's going to win.
Sure.
This is the classic Unstoppable. Always here to provide us with a lot of entertainment. Kind of going to throw a curveball at us, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can see the argument with Hypnotic, right? Because they do have Leona ultimate, very nice to play into. Ezreal is able to farm from a very safe distance, so can potentially avoid the Zac ganks. He did nerf his Arcane Shift, raises the cooldown a bit, so it forces him to lane a little bit more smarter, cannot expend that too aggressively. I think they raised it by 2 seconds at rank 1. I cannot be too sure. But yeah, I mean, Ezreal and Leona, pretty standard lane here. But with that being said, I think we are going to go ahead and cut to a break here. Stick with us, folks. Grab a drink, grab something to eat. We're here for a wonderful best of 3 here. And we'll see you guys in just a minute.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Welcome back, everybody. Here on the Rift, Hypnotic Gaming on blue side versus Tortugas on red side here. Going to go ahead and out. Ready for this first game of this best of 3 series. What are your thoughts, Beatdown? You think this is going to be a 2-0 or close set?
I can't tell you about game two, but my thoughts on game one are that, well, I got to be honest. I think Hypnotic Gaming win the draft here. It's more clear what they want to do with this composition. I'm really
Mhm.
interested to see how I almost called the Reckless Tortuga, how Tyrell's Tortugas are going to play around this Zillion of the bot lane. Yeah, that's a throwback, eh? Well, it's
Mhm.
going to be interesting. He is running the Glacial Augment Keystone, so it is just going to be a lot of poke. And again, I talked about it in the draft. He is going to be a little hard to chase down there. So if Apollo does try to make plays up in that top lane,
Mhm.
it's going to be a little tough. You got to be really on point with those pillars.
Yeah, I agree. And something to note: Glacial Augment build essentially means that once Mowgli gets at least both, the Super Soaker and the Spooky Ghost, he should be able to land a double bomb, 100% guaranteed. And if not, then that's on Mowgli, right?
Yeah.
But so far, mid lane Zoe versus Syndra here. Nothing too fancy here. We do have the Arcanist Prestige skin coming out here from Miss Eden. Nice skin.
Yeah, I noticed that one too, actually. I didn't realize that skin line's already out now.
Hmm.
I guess it came
Yep.
out with the most recent patch, but yeah, it's a really nice one. So far,
Yeah.
things are pretty even so far. Interesting that random in the mid lane on that Syndra is running biscuit delivery. So and even started off with the corrupting potion. So it is going to be looking to trade a lot here with the Zoe.
Yeah, I think they're anticipating a lot of poke from the Zoe. Um,
Oh,
oh, the ice ball will actually lands on top. But another wonderful stun coming out from Capitals. But I think Capitals is running Time Warp Tonic along with the biscuit delivery. So he has that burst of HP boost when he pops the potion, which is really nice into that lane versus Zoe. As you do see, Trundle pathing towards bot side, looking for the pillar, gets one. Not quite in the most optimal position. Applying pressure. Nice stuff from
whoa.
Leona. Gonna take a turret shot, but I think they're gonna go ahead and walk away. Nicely done from Tortugas, able to avoid the gank earlier on.
And that's pretty much more or less one of your win conditions here. If you're Tyrell's Tortugas, again, we talked about it. The Twitch in the early game is not great. Part of that is part of why you have a Lulu, and it does make sense that both junglers are going to try and spend time in that bottom lane. Apollo, because you want to take advantage of that weak early game and you want to provide support if you're rally. But right now, he is going to be claiming that top scuttle. And since Mowgli is actually has pushed Fiora under tower there, it's going to be hard for him to make a play. I don't think they have enough damage together to actually go for a dive. So it looks like he's just going to settle for a little bit of an invade, use that Scryer's Bloom just to
Mhm.
see if Apollo's in his top side jungle, and it's going to be right on his way.
Yeah, I think Apollo is probably gonna just clear bottom side. Get his Raptors, get his Krugs. Maybe look for another gank bot lane. If not, he can
Yeah.
always take Gromp away from Raleigh. The map is currently split, considering Raleigh just is off the map. Does get his other jungle item. Did not have enough to upgrade. But yeah, nothing too exciting is happening. Bot lane's throwing punches. Nothing too lethal just yet here for us. But yeah, an interesting point here is that Apollo definitely has a lot of more wiggle room. Is running that phase rush, so should be able to zoom across onto the bot side if they do look for another gank. And Twitch, not a lot of mobility, is running cleanse along with the Syndra. They want to respect that Zoe bubble trouble, so we'll see how that plays out later on in the game as the game progresses.
Yeah, plus if you're also looking at the Leona with the Solar Flare Zenith Blade, this is a lot of CC all around in the comp position here for Hypnotic Gaming, so it makes sense to run that cleanse, especially because again, Twitch's early game is rough. You don't want to have one Zenith Blade pretty much ruin that bottom lane for you in the laning phase here. So now as the dragon comes up, we're actually going to see Rolly make a path top side here, looking like he's going to go for his Krugs. And since the top wave has bounced back towards Mowgli the Cat's turret, there
Oh,
is
nice
an
bubble
opportunity
landing
for a
on
gank
top
here.
of Capitals. Eden gets a lot of damage. Pops the Ignite. This is going to burn down, but only going to apply enough pressure, forcing Capitals to potentially back here.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate recall timing there. We're actually going to see that Cat is, wow, actually, Mowgli, the Cat, is going to
Yeah,
make an insane trade here topside.
yeah, might be able to maybe get the kill. It does not have the speed up. Oh,
Oh,
he
he got
lands the
him.
bomb. Is it enough damage? Flashes in through the auto, and first blood
Oh,
goes straight over to Mowgli. Nicely done.
and that is unfortunate. You see if your pings for help in that top side, that's just, oh, that is rough there from Mowgli the Cat. It's actually worth noting too. He has spent a lot of time on the Zillion. I believe as we were loading in, it showed that he had about 250,000 in his mastery score. So he's
Yeah.
definitely well versed on this champion, and it is showing as he is bullying Fiora just a little bit here in the top side. If we look across the board too, you can see CS is a bit in favor, mostly
I
for
think it's a
Tyrell Tortugas
yeah,
right now. Yeah, because you
yeah.
can see that everybody there's got a bit of a CS lead here, with the exception of Poop in the bottom lane on this Twitch, down about 6 CS, but managed to pick up that pickaxe. As we see that Lil, because he's facing a Twitch in lane, he's going to opt to buy that Tear of the Goddess, which is nice for him because that means he can stack that up a lot sooner as he builds towards that Manamune.
Yeah, I think Lil Sejong, usually Asriel's go look to get at least a either tier or the Sheen. Sheen's also really good into lane, especially into Twitch. Provides you a lot more
Sure.
damage for trades, but I'm sure he barely had enough for tier. Probably needed it anyways. Um, but yeah, hopefully Pants is able to sustain himself, making sure he doesn't get caught out by Leona, like you mentioned. And as long as like he keeps up at this pace of the game, then Tortugas are in a winning position at the moment. As long as the Twitch is not dead, isn't giving up a lot of XP, they're in a relatively good spot now.
Well, we're going to see how that plays out because the first dragon is going to be up. You can see there's a lot of vision here in favor of Tyrell's Tortugas, but you
Uh-huh.
have Apollo starting to clear out some wards here. Clears out the control ward in the dragon pit, and unfortunately, while trying to make a play mid, is going to get spotted out by another control ward in that bottom brush. So,
Yeah.
but it looks like still not interested in going for that dragon, especially because he actually has a level lead and a CS lead right now on Raleigh. Now might have been the time, but without priority in that mid lane, I don't think he wants to go for it just yet.
Yeah, and kind of raises the question, small critique towards Raleigh is like, he's been playing PvE the whole game, never looked for, level 3, level 4 gank, not applying a lot of pressure. I think there's something he could look for, especially on Gangplank. Not much Gangplank can do other than the oranges, or at least look to force something, but hopefully he picks up the pace, maybe looks for a gank here, and for now he's just been clearing his jungle. As
Oh,
they do.
Mowgli though. I think
Yeah,
he's gonna
Mowgli
steal
gets the
this buff.
invade. Nice filler coming out. Bubble not going to make it across the wall. Unfortunate angle there. And Mowgli should be fine. Going to walk. Does break the barrel. Gets free 20 gold from GP. You'll love to see it. And he might get sandwiched here again. Pillar should be coming up soon, I believe. As we do see Apollo gets double stun from the bombs here. Needs to run away. And they're, Apollo's chunked. Probably needs to go back here. And or unless they go for Scuttle Crab, but nicely done from Mowgli.
Yeah, again, he's just been doing a lot of work on the Zillion here, pressuring Apollo in his own jungle, and they weren't even able to catch him out. And Miss Eden actually went for that roam to try and help as well, but it didn't end up really playing out. However, Miss Eden will get that second blue buff, so is going to be able to trade a lot more aggressively here against this Syndra.
Yeah, definitely. As Miss Eden sitting in a somewhat comfortable position despite Capitals having a CS lid. And we do see the Dragon being started. TP coming in from Mowgli. They're really want to committing a lot of members for this Dragon here. And that should be Infernal Drake going straight over to Tortugas here. It was the GP try to steal it. Bit of a waste. I mean, Yeah.
I don't think anything else is going to happen in the next couple minutes, so you might as well give it a try. And it's unfortunate too, because Mowgli got that earlier kill, forced Fiora out of lane. He had to blow the
Yeah.
teleport to come back, so you know that there is no pressure from the top laner if you teleport for that dragon. Tyrell's Tortugas know that there's no way they can really, there's no way Hypnotic Gaming could reasonably contest it. So that's going to be the first Drake on the board here at 10 minutes. And if we look, we're starting to see some itemization really come through here in the solo lanes for Tyrell's Tortugas as well. You already see the Lost Chapter and boots built on the Syndra. On top of still having the corrupting pots, there's a lot of trading going on here. Probably not if they make a play on her in the mid lane, though. But it looks like they will just back off because they were spotted, and the vision from Random Cap is coming really clutch right now.
Yeah, it's something to know here in terms of build. You look over at Pants, building that Manamune on Twitch is quite interesting. I don't play a lot of Twitch, haven't really seen it much in pro play, so this is quite news to me, especially with that Manamune. Curious whether or not, and that should not kill. Unleash Power, not going to get the job done. Miss Eden forced to burn their flash there, but then again, they are playing Zoe. Could always pick up someone else's flash if the time occurs, if the stars align. But
True.
yeah, so far this game has been rather timid. Hypnotic Gaming not really forcing things. They're kind of playing a little bit more passive, more reactive, not actively looking for plays here. I think Apollo's just kind of farming, which is fine, but I mean he's not really impacting the map. He only did one gank on bot lane, which is fine. But yeah, I think both junglers are kind of playing PvE for time being.
But see, Matsuda, you talked about it really well early on here
Yeah,
about how Zach doesn't have that early laning power. You know, you don't go for those level 2, level 3 cheese ganks like you can with someone like Apollo here. Oh, hold on a second, though. Hold that
nice
thought.
stun coming in from Raleigh as direct to camera. Takes his bottom lane. The stun coming in on Lulu. Ginormify going out, but that's not going to be enough. Lil Jiang getting the kill. First kill goes over to Hypnotic Gaming. Zillion gets the resurrect, but should be maybe he lives. Misses the double bomb and still tanking. But Zach should have passive available, and they should be able to stay alive. Oh, the flash from the Leona ultimate as Poop My Pants is still able to stay alive, but unfortunately, Apollo gets the kill, and it's quite the fiesta on the bottom side of the map. But so far, both teams going blow for blow.
And it's a really good jump there. Apollo backs off, but once he realizes the jungler is making a play topside, finally commits to the bottom lane. But still, like I was going to say, I wish that Apollo was a little more active in this early game. Like we all know Trundle is quite the strong jungler early on, especially against a Zac who just wants to farm up early and is waiting, probably getting closer to level 6 before he can really try and dive in for some serious ganks here. So, but that's the second gank we've seen from Apollo in 13 minutes now. It is successful, which is good. You do get some money into Lil
Yeah.
Sejong's pocket, which you absolutely love to see. And honestly, props to Fiora in the top lane of the gameplay. He does manage to avoid quite, he manages to live quite long. And Raleigh and Mowgli definitely, even though they got the kill, got a little more than they bargained for. We're going to see now that. Oh, hold on a
Can't
second,
force the
actually.
flash, but Leona gets the stun. Cleanse is burned, and nice Zenith Blade zooms across the map.
Wait,
Unleash Power should
yeah.
get the job done. It's a 1-for-1, something that Capital is willing to take in a 1v3. But I mean, that Zenith Blade was kind of nutty. Unfortunate that Syndra pressed R, but I mean, both teams are starting to pick up the pace here. Tempo is rising here.
Yeah, and even though down a kill, looks like Hypnotic Gaming are ahead in gold by about 500. You can see it spread out in different places here. But if you look, for the most part, with regards to CS leads, it's largely in favor of Tyrell's Tortugas. And if you look here, they just have leads in almost every lane here, with the exception of, well, it looks like the only one is the jungler and the AD carry, because of course, Lil John got a kill and assist from that play bottom lane, and he has been
Yeah.
stacking that mana immune. He's already about almost 2/3 of the way to that Miramana, has the Sheen, so this Ezreal is really starting to come online here. It's still unclear whether or not he's going to go, whether it's Iceborne Gauntlet or Trinity Force, but both options are definitely available here. And I think Iceborne Gauntlet would probably be the way to go. Because I think Tyrell's Tortugas is really going to be like super all in composition here, where they really like once they're in, they are all the way in. So I think having that bit of health and the
Oh,
ability to slow
unfortunate
people down is
delay.
going to be super useful.
Oh, not gonna be able to land the ultimate as the fight insinuates here. Nice, Zach. Let's bounce going through here, but they get the pick on Lulu. Miss
Whoa.
Eden gets the kill. A double kill kills Poop Pants. And here comes the TP coming in from Mowgli, and that's not going to be looking too hot for him as he delivers himself available. A double stun on top, stuns the Zoe, but not be able to get the kill just yet. Only going to trade some damage out there. But so far, Hypnotic Gaming walk away and are still able to stay alive. Zillion trying to get a kill, gets the resurrect. GP might die here. Oh, so close. Fiora able to stay alive, and Zoe almost gets the kill on Mowgli. But for now, they secure the Cloud Drake, which is a nice play coming out from Hypnotic Gaming.
And that plays out really well for them as now 2 kills have been given to.
Oh,
Oh my god. Now
yeah.
that's even better because now you have your mid laner, your Zoe have 2 kills, hasn't even spent that money yet, has built the Luden's Echo. So the Zoe is really gonna start to hurt. Those full range paddle stars are gonna start chunking people as I'm sure we all know and fear. And if you look in that bottom lane too, it's a really important kill there for Lil Sejong, sitting on about 1,600 gold, and looks like that's just enough for him to finish that Iceborne Gauntlet here. So he is definitely off to a good start in this
Yeah.
bottom lane. Is really going to be looking to start to trade a little more aggressively here. We were going to see Fiora in the top lane finish off that Trinity Force, so that is a pretty good power spike here for the Gangplank. And it seems like he is having a bit of an easier time against Mowgli, even though GLP's been completed. Same with the Sork shoes, and he's continuing on with that tier of the goddess.
Mm-hmm. You know, so far, Fiora's doing all right. Doesn't quite have enough Silver Serpents to upgrade his ultimate, as they are making a play for Rift Herald on Hypnotic Gaming. And we're going to see whether or not Tortugas has a response to this. So we do see Raleigh coming in, initiates on top of Fiora. Not quite going to get another stun on top. They're trying to secure control over this Rift Herald, and they might just need to give it up here. Not enough initiation. Leon Ultimate is available, but it does not seem Bang Bus is able to find an opening. Tries to get the steal with the ultimate. Quite an interesting move. Cannon Barrage going to buy them some time. They initiate on top of Mowgli. Able to pop the ultimate, but Fiora is able to get the kill on top of Zach. Now they're turning towards Twitch. Twitch is trying to run kite away, and the Expunge is not able to get the execute as members of Tortuga are trying to run away, but Miss Eden gets another kill. This Zoe is huge right now. 10 stacks on that Dark Seal.
And that is no good. Bad news bears if you are Tyrell's Tortugas. Because not only that, the entire squad spent their time in the top lane, and it allowed the first turret to go down, or one of the first turrets to go down at the hands of Lil Sejong there in the bottom lane. He knows he can just free farm here while they're skirmishing, and they may have gotten the Rift Herald for the side of Tyrell's Tortugas. But, I mean, they managed to even though they got it, they gave up a lot of gold here.
Yeah. I mean, so far, Tortugas, I mean, they're not behind by a huge margin. They're down 3K. A lot of the gold is towards Zoe and Ezra, which is very good on the side of Hypnotic Gaming. Excited whether or not they're able to press their lead a little bit more, as we do see Twitch is able to side lane for a bit. Is still stacking that man immune. I'm not sure how long it'll take him. He's barely like halfway or so. But even then, things are not looking too hot for Tortugas.
No, they seem to have kind of they were doing okay in that early game, but some really bad trades and some not so successful ganks pretty much lead them to the scenario they're in right now. They're not exactly ready to team fight at the moment. Random capitals on the Syndra is
They
pretty
get
strong. They are
the
going to be able
turret
to
here.
get this turret too, which is good.
Yep.
But you're not looking at team fight just yet here. Especially you're looking at the Twitch. Hasn't fully stacked the mana immune into Miramana yet. Is looking to build that second item, very likely the Runon's Hurricane, because that's the item spike you're looking for here for Twitch. That's when you can really start to contribute to these team fights here. And actually, now that I mention it, he is going to have it completed. Carrie already has the Ardent Sensor, so soon especially for this next dragon that's coming up in a minute here, is probably when Tyrell's Tortugas want to try to make a play happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not sure where the power spike aligns with Man Twitch. Usually you see the Bork or the Infinity Edge first buy. So I cannot confidently say when he's power spiking, but I'm assuming third item, unless he gets a full stack Mirror Mana. But that hasn't happened yet. So, we still got to wait a bit here. As Miss Eden holding it down on the mid lane does not have their mid turret available anymore, but I think they're just looking to clear the waves. As we do see Gangplank is side laning, and I think they're just going to play for the next dragon, which is going to be an Ocean Drake. So it will be an Ocean Soul this game, available for both teams to take.
And it's something you'd really love if you were Tyrell's Tortugas right now. That extra bit of healing would be so useful to you. And I think it would be worse though on Apollo, just because the Trundle already has quite a bit of healing, is
Yeah.
going to struggle there. But oh no, speaking of struggle,
Yeah, we do see they're looking to catch out Gangplank, but the fight is split, and now they get the pick on Lulu. Nicely done for Zoe. As we do see the slows coming out from the Zillion, buying enough time for Zach, but they get the kill anyways. Nicely done from Ezreal. And they should be able to get this dragon for free. Not much they can do to contest it. But it starts off where Tortuga split off to try to catch the Gangplank, and they leave their flank open and just let Eden free fire with those paddle stars.
which I understand the temptation. You have someone isolated on their own here, but if there's still a Leona behind you, if there's still a Zoe, a Trundle, you can't just turn your back to champions like that. And we saw exactly why. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble goes down, Zenith Blade. There's once your team gets locked up like that, you just pop. The Zac isn't as tanky as he normally is yet. Only has the Spectre's Cowl and the Kindle Gem building towards that Spirit Visage, but he's not there yet. So again, you need your Zac to become a really beefy boy, and you do need your other champions to come online here. Oblivion Orb is purchased by Random Capitals. Could be building towards that Morello Nomicon, or is just going to buy it for the Magic Pen and immediately move on to another item, which is also quite common in the mid lane for mages. We're going to see how that one goes. And right now, it looks like Tyrell's Tortugas are just going to settle for getting some vision in the top side there around the Barret pit, some deep wards as well. And this is really good because now they have eyes on that Baron. And that's probably the next major thing they're going to play for. Now we're past 20 minutes. One good team fight is probably going to mean you secure the Baron.
Yeah, and Twitch still needs 100 stacks to get Mirror Mana, so not quite hitting that power spike there that they want to achieve.
Soon.
But what happened? Go for it.
No, I was saying soon.
Yeah, I mean it's coming up soon, but soon is not now, and
True.
they kind of need to be strong now in order to
Yeah.
fight against the Hypnotic Gaming here. The Ezreal's huge. Is going to be going for that Death Stance, which did get nerfed on ranged champions, but
yeah,
I guess
but the bleed effect. That's not why people take it. Let's be honest. It's for the resistances. It's for the AD. It's for the lifesteal. I think until Riot starts looking at those aspects of Death Stance, it's just gonna be like you cannot go wrong for your AD carry to go Death Stance third item, and then yeah, and like you said, Ezreal's building towards it, and at that point, he is gonna be super hard to kill.
Yeah, it would take a lot for Tortugas to get it. They need to find a pick with Syndra or Zillion. They both have the Super Soaker, so slows on deck, but they need to find a way to either bait out the Arcane Shift or be able to guarantee any form of CC on top of the Ezreal. That's kind of where Zac comes into play there. Elastic Slingshot, enormous range for them as well. But then again, they also have to deal with the Zoe here. So you have two
True.
champions who are very good at poking as a cannon barrage initiates the fight. Pillar goes through. Zac initiates, looking for the stun, but gets stunned himself, and that's going to be a free kill going over to Apollo. Arcane shifts forward, not available for him. Gets picked out from the Syndra. Unleashed power goes through. Not quite able to get the kill, but Twitch is shredding him through. A shutdown goes over to Pants, and a good turnaround 1-for-1. But Tortuga is able to get the shutdown going over to Twitch. That's huge for them.
Not only did he get such a fat shutdown, Pants has now completed the Mirror Mana, and he's sitting on a nice chunk of gold there, about 1,600. Very likely going to build. He's actually probably building towards an Infinity Edge. You see, he already has the Cloak of Agility. And that's going to be really big. This Twitch is going to really come online here soon. And it's too bad Hypnotic Gaming really overextended in that one. They already got one pick, but they pushed too far for it. And Lil Sejong pays the price here. But you mentioned it really well, too. Miss Eden on the Zoe is still large and in charge right now, has two
Yep.
needlessly large rods. The Luden's Echo is just going to go straight for that death cap here. And I imagine the Medjai Soul Stealer at some point, as he's still sitting on a nice bit of stacks here on that Dark Seal. And look, right as I talk about it, death cap is completed. If you guys were watching when that paddle star hit that poor scuttle crab in the top lane a couple minutes ago, that's just a preview of what the Zoe is gonna start doing to people here. And if we look topside too, this is actually a really important item built for Mowgli. He built the staff of the. Oh, this happens to me all the time. Goddess's
Seraph and
staff,
Goose.
Archangel staff.
Yeah.
There we go. And it has upgraded to Seraphs. That shield is going to be really important when he's looking for those stuns to possibly start out fights here. It's going to allow him to live just a little bit longer here. And now we're going to see Tyrell Tortugas try to get that priority in the mid lane, as it looks like the Dragon is going to be their next goal.
Yeah, Dragon's coming up soon, and the one obstacle that's probably going to be very difficult for Tortugas here is, like I said, they got Zoe, they got Ezreal, very
Yeah.
poke-heavy champions. They're not the tankiest. They only have Zac, who even then only has MR, does not have any armor to. I mean, he has tabbies, but it's not going to be able to refute against the Mystic shots from Ezreal, as we do see a fight initiate. Leon is still not going to hit, but they initiated Zac. Let's Bow's going through, going to be able to stun him up, but he's going to go into his passive state. They should be able to kill the Zac, and that should be Dragon going straight over to Hypnotic Gaming as they get the kill on Gangplank. But for now, they should be able to still assert their dominance. Gets the pick from Twitch. Oh my gosh. Eden with the sniper. Call him the American sniper here. A double kill for the Ezreal, and that's going to be a clean ace. I think they go for... I don't know.
Baron
I don't
could
want
be
to
the
make
call.
a call
I
here.
actually think they want to take
I
that
think
tier
so.
2 first.
But I think that, yeah.
I agree. Like, going to the Baron wouldn't be a bad call here, but you see Raleigh's going to be up in about 5 seconds here. They don't want to risk it. Instead, they're going to take that free tier 2 tower and back right off. And man, that was a nasty blind paddle star there from Miss Eden. But the real problem there in that fight is Raleigh had a great use of his ultimate Let's Bounce. He locked a couple people down, some key targets, but what the problem was, there was no follow-up. They couldn't. They were clumped up in the entranceway towards the red side blue buff. Exactly. Right? Miss Eden, the sleepy trouble bubble is right there, and it can hit multiple people, so you're afraid to walk past that point. And unless you do something about this Zoe, she's just too powerful to ignore at this point in the game, and it's going to be hard for random capitals to really try to match right now, because you can see that the itemization is very different here. Zoe has a huge bounty, completed the death cap, Sork shoes, even the Menjai Soul Stealer with 10 stacks. And as the game goes on, it's going to continue to stack up if they keep playing like this. So Hypnotic Gaming are in a really good spot right now, and they're at soul point, which is even rougher for Tyrell Tortugas, because now they have to contest every Drake. And when that happens, Hypnotic Gaming can just jump right up to that Baron, because they have a pretty decent ability to clear it out as well. They got a lot of damage here, the Gangplank, the Zoe, and the Ezreal.
Yeah, and to clarify, I believe Zoe Bubble only hits one person. I don't think it can hit multiple people. It'll hit the first person who walks into it or gets hit by it, I believe. Just to clarify.
But okay, my mistake then.
No, it's fine. That way, the viewers are not like, oh my god, it's always broken, or, she's not that bad.
I mean,
as I say, she just chunked Syndra right there. That's some juicy damage rate. And she has the Medjais now, which is, pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, but, right now, Hypnotic Gaming have a really nice 1-3-1 going on here. The Central top side should be able to get that top turret while GP is applying pressure bot side. And, you have your two poke champions, Zoe and Ezreal, able to zone them off in the mid lane. And they might be looking for a pick on Zac, forcing him to elastic slingshot away. And, on the side of Tortugas, they're losing their base, bit by bit. But, yeah, I mean, things are not looking too pretty for them.
And let's just look at the itemization here real quick, especially for Pants on this Twitch. He has finished the Infinity Edge, and because of those kills he's gotten recently in the gold, he's been farming up. He's actually keeping up in CS with a little Sage Hong. Now he is really relevant in these fights. Now he's at that 3-item spike. He's completed that Merman, and this Twitch is really going to hurt. As long as Tyrell Tortugas can keep him safe in these fights, he can dish out a lot of damage. And really, the big thing to protect him from is Eden, just because of the Zoe's ability to portal jump, potentially land a devastating paddle star, as we've seen time and time again, especially as the Zoe is going towards her 4th item. While unfortunately, Random Capitals on the Syndra is just barely working towards his 2nd here, which with the blasting one tells me it is going to be that Morello. Nope, I got baited. It is going to be the Void Snap there. You want to get through that bit of MR that Apollo has built himself, so you can damage that tank a little bit better, because Raleigh's been doing a good job at locking him up. It's just following him up has been very difficult here.
And I'm wondering, interesting that Mowgli's going for the Zanyas. I wasn't, I'm debating whether or not Banshee Veil is a more optimal play here, since you want to avoid those paddle shots, sleepy bubble
True.
trouble. I think those are a little bit more of high value than getting armed. Ezreal, frankly, already has a lot of AD on the table here, and it's starting to does have his executioner's calling. So going to be cutting out that healing coming out from Lulu, Zach, and Zillion.
Hold on, it looks like with the dragon
Oh.
coming up, they want to fight for it.
Yeah, they're on top of Bank Bus Driver, but Eden gets a snipe over the wall, gets the Zillion, and Ezreal takes out the Zac. It's a 2-for-1 so far, and they can still keep on going with the fight. Lulu burning her heal, not available. I'm going to go ahead and turn on top of Capitals, as we do see them trying to disengage from the team fight, and they should be giving away Soul over. Oh, the cleanse going through, force a flash away, and the GP not able to get to the barrel combos, getting interrupted by Lulu, flashing over the wall, gets pillared, and good night, Syndra needs to be careful. Oh, you just let your... Oh, no. That's where you spam ping your support right there. I would have... Okay, I don't know about you, Beatdown. I would have been the homie. I would have said, you know what? I'm just the support. I'll take this one just for you. No,
I think
Kerry
they weren't
said,
expecting
screw
to see
this.
one.
No, Kerry said, screw you. I am living. I'm going to go reset. Oh, that feels bad. That feels bad if you're Capitals.
Look, the cooldown is pretty short at this point, too, so I think they weren't expecting it. But that's going to be another 10 stacks from when we last checked here from Miss Eden's Magi. That's another 120 AP on top of this. The ridiculous. I'm actually going to click and just see how much AP the Zoe has right now. It looks like it is 515, and she literally one-shot the Scuttle Crab with the Paddle Star. Like, it's unreal. And we're going to see now with the Dragon Soul going over to Hypnotic Gaming. I'm very tempted to say this is kind of the end of the line here for Tyrell Tortugas. You have the Trundle, the Gangplank, who is hard to kill, except Pants got him really well in that 1v1. And even Bang Bus Driver, really tanky on this Leona, has the Gargoyle Stone plate. It's going to be hard to kill this squad here. And Tyrell's Tortuga know that the only thing left is the Baron, that they don't have any vision around at the moment. They have some pinks in their own jungle, but you can see Carrie now is going around trying to clear some vision just to get themselves a better position so that they can try and contest. But it's going to be so hard as their Hypnotic Gaming are just replenishing ward
this
after
was
ward.
the pick they needed. Burning the flash from Zoe. So we're able to stay alive, keep their 20 stacks. But, this game's going to be so hard for Tortugas. Zoe has 20 stacks on the Medjais. Nothing much they can really do here. And this is where you start to think, okay, we're probably not going to win game 1. We need to think, what is our answer for game 2? We need to approach this, a lot of teams usually when they get stumped by Zoe like Eden, you get the bandit Zoe. Nice, Eden's play, not quite going to connect with the ult, as Twitch gets a lot of damage as he kites away from the fight. Let's Bounce going to be able to buy him some time as well as they're looking to disengage. Oh, the flash, the double bomb's able to zone him away as well. And that should be Baron's in favor for Hypnotic Gaming if they choose to go for it, but instead they're going to go ahead and crash the mid wave, then turn towards Baron, right?
That's very likely the call. They want to just clear up some vision, make sure that Tyrell Tortugas can't see what's going on here.
Wait, that's
no!
a shutdown. Yeah, You do that. You do that, Pants. You call out the Zoe. That was the biggest pelotas I've ever seen on Eden. Oh my.
Oh, no, then this is pretty big here because again, all these big important shutdowns are going on to Pants here. That's the second one
Yeah.
he's gotten. That's a nice 1,000 gold in his pocket. He's sitting on about 2,000, and you can see now he's actually sitting at 4 items, 75% crit chance. Like this Twitch is definitely online. He is definitely here to fight, and you can see now this is going to allow Tyrell's Tortugas to be able to clear vision around that Baron because when you lose that Zoe for as long as they have now, because we're in the 35-minute mark, you don't have as much pressure here in and around the Baron pit. So this allows them to put as much vision as they want. They're going to get some deep wards in, but not a whole lot. Still, this is pretty big here. However, Miss Eden is still going to complete that Morellonomicon. This Zoe is still very much going to hurt. But it's picks like that that can win Tyrell Tortugas the game.
Yeah. And that's where Hypnotic Gaming needs to be careful. Eden needs to start respecting. I know they have a massive lead, but the game is starting to scale in towards the late game, and that's where gold leads start to not really factor in anymore. Twitch is working on his last item, so he's approaching his potential peak as a champion right now. So Eden needs to be aware of that. She is sitting on a stopwatch. Could have used that, but I think she assumed she was dead already. But need to kind of play smarter, need to respect your opponents. Although you're kind of like running them over, you still need to give them that little bit of respect. That's all I'm saying. But for now, they're pacing around Baron. Gonna do the classic tango on the Baron pit.
Yeah, I don't think they want to take it with this many people on the map, but I mean, they could try and make a play. You have Fiora pushing in the bottom lane there, trying to take that tier 2 tower. So they know it's a 5v4 at the moment. So if they just keep kiting and keep allowing Fiora to pressure that side lane, this might actually work out pretty well. And the best thing about it, too, is that well, this Gangplank does have the teleport. So
Yeah.
Mobley can't go and match him because he doesn't have his teleport available. So this one is actually going to be pretty tough here. They are going to start the recall here. So they got to stop those backs if they want to allow Fiora to actually get it. No, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to. But now it's exactly like I said. The pings are coming out. They're going to make that play for the Baron because this Gangplank has the teleport.
Yeah, as long as Gangplank keeps up the pressure bot side, he should be able to force it. He has CP there. I don't think he needs to back unless he has a buy available.
He has
Maybe
a buy.
Ghostblade.
He has a buy.
I think
Yeah.
it's Ghostblade, maybe. As we do see them dancing around the Baron River. It does get a bubble of trouble as they lose their second tier mid turret. Not the most optimal play coming out from Hypnotic Gaming. Looking for the pick. They don't want to force too hard. Their Ezreal just got nearby. Wouldn't have been able to get close enough there, but for now, they're gonna maybe look to burn Baron. They're trying to call out these recalls here, but on the side of Tortugas, you have that pressure where it's like if I go for my reset, Baron just is given away to the enemy team, but now they're turning towards Elder Drake, which is
Yeah.
also in my opinion, a checkmate if Hypnotic
Yeah,
Gaming
way more important.
secures this objective.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Could not agree more. That is the play here. The stall was really good because it did allow Fiora to be able to push the bottom lane pretty far into that inhibitor turret.
Oh, a nice
Big
double
time.
bomb. Might be able to get the pick, and they need to keep Eden alive. But that's going to be a bomb taking her out there. Oh, Mowgli
Huge.
picks up
Oh
the
my
kill.
god.
This is the fight that Tortugas needed. But is actually getting taken out here. Passive going to get proc and unleash the power. Capital's get the pick on Bank Bus Driver. Ezreal's the only one left alive to keep his team alive. Apollo needs to do his best to keep his teammate alive. And now they're playing to try to keep him off this dragon. They can always poke, but they need to respect them. No unleashed power available. They can maybe look for the steal here. And this could be the game-winning play here. If Apollo is able to flash over and smite it, he's calculating, he's using his brain. He's waiting to try and steal the dragon and save the day.
Oh,
and he gets it! He steals the Elder Drake! And they should be able to get away. They need to keep Ezreal alive. They need to retain this Elder buff if they want to end game one here.
And they're very, very capable of doing so right now here. But it looks like they want to make the fight. Oh, Poop is so low.
They need to at least proc. Okay, there you go, Ezreal. should be able to keep GP alive. Ezreal needs to stay alive in this fight if they
No,
want
no,
to
no,
win.
no.
But they get Ezreal a shutdown, but they burn off Twitch as well. But that means no Elder buff available for Hypnotic Gaming. I don't think Zoe has it at all. So essentially, that huge objective was nullified.
It's just, it is just unbelievable. All Lil Sejong had to do was leave. I understand the kills are enticing. I know you have the Elder Dragon, but you
Yeah.
guys just have to leave right
I,
now.
I think
Reset
that's on
and
Gangplank. Gangplank took such a greedy back in that
yeah,
try burst.
that I
Just
completely
walk
agree.
it off. The
But
wave
at the
is
end of the
not.
day, if you lose your Gangplank there, that's okay though. Because like you know what, that's one Elder Dragon buff. You stole the Elder Dragon. Who cares that you lose your Gangplank? He'll be back up.
Yeah.
You guys win the 5v5. That's a game-winning steal right there. I still believe there are people alive who have the Baron buff. I'm just looking around
No, no,
here.
no one has
No,
Elder buff
that's
anymore.
that's
No one.
literally nobody because
Yeah,
Miss
the buff
Eden
is
was
nullified.
gone. Oh,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, you're right. So there's no Elder buff. So that's it. That could have been a game-winning play there from Hypnotic Gaming, but
Yeah.
they end up throwing it away. They are going to have to play for this Baron that is still up, and they're just going to be posturing. And you can see the late game power. Both these AD carries are definitely hurting people right now. You see Lil Sig Jong has completed the Blade of the Rune King, so he has that nice bit of attack speed, the life steal on top of Death's Dance. So he is he's gonna survive just a little bit longer here. And you see the Mortal Reminder built by the Twitch.
Look at
It's gonna be
the pick on Bang Bus Driver here. They're looking for more. Not gonna get the stun. Should be able to walk away, but forcing to proc his Gargoyle Storm Plate. Zoe looking for a pick. Not gonna quite get the kill there. 0 stacks on the Magi, just taking up an item slot as they are funneling the wave down mid lane. And they're calling for Baron here. They're forcing Hypnotic Gaming's hand to say, yeah, you either deal with Baron or you have to deal with us on the mid lane here. Nice chunk on the Twitch. Forced to burn his cleanse, and now they're looking to fight. Spray and pray, baby. Should be able to get the expunge. Gets the pick on Leona, and maybe they can force Baron. They still have to deal with Apollo and Zoe. And it looks like they're posturing themselves near it as we do see Gangplank getting that inhibitor turret and might be able to get that bottom lane
oh
inhibitor. This is huge. They send Mowgli, but I think he got what he wanted. Now he can leave.
yeah, that's right. And that is actually huge. I actually think he's going to stay as well there. Try to bait the fact that he's resetting. He actually does bait the teleport, so Mowgli is back
Yeah,
into
so
the Baron
Mowgli
pit.
can
He's gonna
force
keep
it.
pushing.
All right, so they need a stall. They need to stop the backs here. You know, Ezra's got a Q at least. Okay, hits the
No.
Zac,
Okay.
but Twitch is able to go back into base. Now, I think GP dies here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
He does
you know,
have
rest in peace.
flash. Nope.
I don't think it's worth
No,
it.
he didn't have flash.
Zillion has so much mobility with his E there. I don't think he is able to like, make it out alive.
Yeah, fair enough. And you know what? Still, that does end up working pretty well. You give up the Baron, but you take that bottom inhibitor. You have your waves pushed out so far that you can see how much time Tyrell Tortugas have to spend just pushing it out in that mid lane. And they definitely have to clump together now because they really don't have any side lane pressure. And as you can see, this Twitch
Oh,
is just
nice Leon
huge.
ultimate. But that's going to be Bang Bus Driver getting caught out once again. That is not something that they want to happen here. Now it leaves Lil Young only getting protection from Apollo, but Apollo might be getting caught out here as they are going to break middle inhibitor. This could be game. They are going to force their hands at the Nexus turrets, and it's only Ezra left alive. Lulu does have ultimate, is pinging that ready for Twitch, and they could definitely end the game here if they're able to execute a dive onto the remaining members of Hypnotic Gaming. Pillar goes out, dives onto the Ezreal, Arcane shifts away, might be able to get the
Oh,
pick, and they're trying to take him out, but they're destroying the Nexus turrets of Hypnotic Gaming as they're trying to kill the Zac as fast as possible.
he
Double cannon
lives.
Baron. He is able to stay alive. They get 2 kills on the Gangplank and Zac. And my bad, Trundle, but now they're looking for more. Double kill for Twitch. Ezreal needs to put in some time here, and he might be able to get a kill. Ida is able to get Zac, but they need more. They need Twitch. They don't need the Zac, they need the AD carry here as Twitch is just autoing away, firing away, and that's going to be an ace. And that will be Tortugas taking game 1 over Hypnotic Gaming.
That is just too bad because Hypnotic Gaming really had the game in their hands for, I think, about 35 of those 45 minutes. I think at that point where you have the Twitch actually make it to 3 items, make it to the point in the game where he's extremely relevant, it becomes problematic. His ultimate also gives him that extra bit of range, and it's so helpful in these team fights. And it's so hard for you to push in a side lane too when a Twitch is that strong, could just pop out of invisibility and just knock you right out here. And it became apparent that it's kind of like you talked about here. Yeah, you're really strong, but eventually, once we're 45, 50 minutes in the game and everybody has a whole lot of money, your advantage starts to fall off here. The Zoe, who we kept talking about, was super dangerous. 20 stacks on the
Yeah.
Magi. She's so strong. Yeah, but eventually everybody else got strong too. So that mattered less and less. She was getting blown up, and Raleigh was finally getting the follow ups to all of his ultimates. And all they needed was to get Twitch to 5 items, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hypnotic made a huge blunder on Elder. Like, it wasn't even just the GP, right? Like, I think it was Ezreal's choice to stay. I think he probably could have lived if he just left GP to die. At least they have one person with Elder. But
Yeah,
I mean, man, it's
that's
just,
really where they lose it.
and then they start like not respecting Fog of War, and then they like Leona gets caught randomly, and it really puts them in a weird disadvantage, and it makes the game even harder for them.
True.
Yeah, they had GP splitting, but there comes a point where like there's not much Hypnotic Gaming can do to impact any of these team fights, right? Like now you're forced
Yeah.
to Leon ult to disengage. You're not really looking for picks anymore. Zoe is having a struggle to one shot people like she was doing in mid game. She's starting to fall off. And I mean, nicely done with Tortugas. Some people were dragged across, but a win is a win. They'll, as the kids say, we take those.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hypnotic Gaming, that's a tilter. A 45-minute game, you're you're in the winning seat for a long time, and then
Yeah.
it goes down the drain. It's like winning the
Yeah.
lottery. You go back to gamble, and then you bust. You
And
go
you
out like a buster. You go out like a
That's
buster.
that's a really good way to put it, Masuda. That's just kind of where it all fell apart. They gambled it. They gambled their lead. They gambled their win all away during the fight post Elder Dragon. That's what did it there. They could have kept some of their dragon buffs. They could have gotten the ace. They could have won the game. It's really that simple.
Yeah. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and cut to a break while we prepare for game two. Stick around. If it was exciting as game one, I can promise you, Twitch chat, that game two will be just as exciting because now we got to see what Hypnotic Gaming's response is. So we will see you guys shortly. Stay tuned.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back from break, ready for game 2. As we can see, game 1 was quite the exciting fiesta from both of these teams here, but they're bunkering down for game 2. We're in picks and bans. How are you feeling, Beatdown?
A little confused. Really thought Hypnotic Gaming had that one for almost 40 minutes or so, but it was really, again, we talked about it before the break. Just a horribly sad fight there. Post Elder Dragon that pretty much cemented Tyrell's Tortugas victory there. And at the end of the day, they kind of fulfilled their win condition. Make it to the late game, especially with their composition. You have Raleigh on that Zac, and pretty much make space for the Twitch once he becomes that hyper carry, and that he did. But anyways, we're on to game 2 now, because we're already seeing the first wave bans come through. So a decent amount is pretty close to what we saw before. However, Tyrell's Tortugas are going to ban Zoe this time around, because even though they won, they're like, I don't want it.
Yeah, no, I don't think they enjoyed having to suffer through that, as they first pick the Ashe. Interesting. Ashe isn't a bad champion, but I personally would have first picked it. But I'm sure Tortugas know what they're doing because they won game 1. So and we see Hypnotic Gaming go ahead and lock in the Kindred. It was banned, I believe, against them last game. So they're going ahead and gonna go give that straight over to Apollo, and they lock in the Karma. Probably gonna be support for Bang Bus. I've seen him pull it out in his years in amateur, but they could always flex it, so we never know here.
We're seeing a little more potential mind games here. Of course, we know Karma is that potential flex. And Tyrell's Tortugas not really messing around here. They've gotten their bottom lane pretty much set to go. And I like what Hypnotic Gaming are doing so far, because you can kind of tell with Kindred and Karma, even though they can't get the Ezreal, there are still ways that I think they're going for a really sort of composition here, because you have a lot of range damage already here. It looks like Tyrell's Tortugas are just going to respond with that volley. Could be jungle, could be top. That one actually won't know right away, so we're going to see how this one plays.
If it's jungle, I hope. I'm not really a fan of it just because of Kindred.
Really?
I mean, it's Kindred. I think it's kind of iffy. Kindred ranks marksman in the jungle, kites you out. Sure, you can chase her down with Q. But...
I was going to say, yeah.
And they did nerf his clear a bit with the W heal nerf.
True.
The classic Kindred counter is like Gragas, because you just ult her ultimate, and
True.
And so she doesn't get the immunity. But that aside, they're gonna go ahead and go for the Caitlyn here on the opposite side, which is rather interesting since Ashe actually does okay. She doesn't counter Caitlyn, but she mitigates a lot of Caitlyn's power spike, which is kind of like shoving it in, and Ashe is kind of one of those traditional 80 carries. You volley the wave, you're able to poke out Caitlyn, and ideally, how bot lane trade is like, you have a lot more value if you have more abilities to use in trading, right? So Ashe has volley and then Q. Caitlyn also has abilities too, but at least for Ashe during the laning phase, it was a little bit more applicable because really it's mostly volley, right? But I think Caitlyn being paired up with Karma, kind of stagnates that. So I'm expecting this to be a very strong bot side coming out from Hypnotic Gaming as they lock in the Malphite. So, I always tell people when they're playing competitive, it's like, if your top laner, if you don't think your top laner is good, I'm not saying their top laner is bad, but from experience, we call it Malphite, Scion, or Maokai duty. Sometimes someone's got to bite the bullet. You got to be a team player.
Sure. Yeah, Malphite, honestly though, still not bad overall, and with what I think Hypnotic Gaming are trying to do here, you see they have a lot of ranged damage in general. You have the Karma, Kindred, Caitlyn, and now you have Malphite. That's your primary engage. That's the goal here. You're looking for a huge unstoppable force. Karma, Caitlyn, and Kindred are basically just going to rain hellfire here. And Tyrell's Tortugas, we're going to see they completed their draft. It's going to be Mordekaiser into that top lane, so it's not a bad matchup actually, and it might end up being rough for Malphite just because Mordekaiser is definitely going to first build the Seeker's Arm Guard, and then it's going to be a little tough unless the Malphite actually tries to build AP. gonna have to
I don't think that it'll be this kid. I think he'll
probably
be
not.
yeah, probably more tank, and even then it's a pretty bad lane matchup for the Malphite. Mordekaiser, you know, it's the same dilemma with Ornn. You're playing a tank into Mordekaiser who kind of like, you know, he gets really good conquer procs off of you. It's really easy to, and then, you know, your laning's not too fun.
Mm-hmm. But still,
And so,
Tyrell. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say Tyrell's Tortugas. They have. It seems like this time around they have the comp with like very clear engagement tools here. Like you have the Thundering Smash from Volibear. You could even start off with the Corki package, like if you really wanted to. The Grand Entrance, I believe it's called, for the Rakan.
yeah.
These are a lot of like, yeah, and these are a lot of ways you want to start these team fights. And then of course you have your Ashe, you have your Corki just poking at range and dishing out these high amounts of damage. Hypnotic Gaming, on the other hand, they don't want to get into these team fights here. They want to keep you at arm's length. And the thing that I like is that they have gotten the Malphite, so it is a good, when that unstoppable force is up, it's a really nice way for them to be like, okay, you can come this way if you want, but whoever walks into us, they're dead.
Yeah, and
destroy.
I Mordekaiser kind of like it's kind of playing like the, you know, like a knight role in chess is where, you know, honestly, you're either going to be Mordekaiser ulting the Kindred or the Malphite. You know, take one of those two out. Huge impact on the team fight.
Sure.
Typically, you would, you know, ult the Kindred during a objective focused fight like Dragon or Baron. You know, Malphite, general fights, right? You want to take them away. No more unstoppable force. Your teammate, you know, they should full send it. They should be clear to go. But this Lux to the Corki, I mean, I don't play a lot of Lux. I think Lux is probably.
I'm glad you're a good person.
Yeah, I think Lux is like is always kind of stable. You know,
Sure.
no offense to Riot, she's the money maker, so they gotta keep her okay. And I think she's feasible in this competitive setting here. Not sure what role they want her to play though, which is kind of why I'm raising questions towards Hypnotic Gaming, what their goal is in this draft. But I mean,
yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting how they're gonna play. Who's actually gonna go in that bottom lane? Because yeah, it's as you say. Like, are they gonna play that Lux support? Are they going to leave it to Karma? It is a lot easier to root people if you're running Lux support and Karma in that mid lane. So it is gonna make it easier for you to also get your own poke off if you land a Q Lux onto Rakan, onto Ashe. Well, of course they're rooted, they can't go anywhere, so that's gonna allow the Caitlyn to be able to do just a little bit of poke damage and try and end up taking better trades here.
yeah, I mean, and something to note is like, I wonder how they're gonna be able to adapt towards Kindred, because earlier on Kindred kind of plays around with marks. Granted, you do have a very strong top side with Mordekaiser, so he should be able to respond. And I don't think Corki's the strongest earlier on, but if he can establish pride over Lux, which would be surprising, you know, then it puts up a really tough fight for Kindred to fight for these marks. I always forget how the marks work. I know they generally work where they spawn on like neutral or scuttle, and then once you have four stacks, it starts to spawn on enemy buff camps. So that's the general sense I understand with. But
yeah,
all I know is Kindred is not a useful champion until 4 stacks. So that's kind of like the number one goal for Apollo. It's like, okay, I need to become a champion, because Volibear is already a champion, you know?
Yeah, once he hits level 3, more or less. So that is a good point too. So that's basically going to be the game here for Apollo in the early on, especially because it is a bit of a coin flip whether or not the first mark goes towards top or bottom scuttle. And depending on where this Volibear is pathing, they might actually try to deny the mark and just go for wherever the mark ends up showing up. Because yeah, it's like you said, in that early game, Volibear definitely has some power there. But it's all going to be, in my opinion, about who can end up getting priority in that mid lane. Because like you said, Lux does have a good amount of wave clear. So does Corki, though. So I think that's going to be the difference there. Who's going to be able to rotate if there end up being little skirmishes for these scuttle crowds?
Yeah. But other than that, like, I think this game is kind of pivotal towards top lane. If Mordekaiser kind of gets the ball rolling, I think you can rush Rylai's, or either Rylai's or Leandri's. Very good item.
Who is this?
Raised
Mordekaiser?
items. Yeah, Mordekaiser. I don't think.
Oh,
that you
absolutely.
rush. Yeah. But also for Hypnotic Gaming, if they're able to like force the strong bot lane that they have, and they're able to get like a lot of priority over Tortugas, then that's where Tortugas kind of got to play around their bot side. Volibear shouldn't have too much trouble, especially with like Caitlyn, right? Because with immobile jungles like Volibear, most of the time if it was like Trundle, for instance, he is gonna get zoned out by the traps. For Volibear's case, he's not gonna care, right? It interrupts his Q, sure, but for those of you that don't know, CC does not interrupt the Q, it just refreshes the cooldown. So now he just gets to queue up again, and it makes the gank relatively easy if they're not careful. Granted, Volibear could always take a lot of damage from the Karma if she Mantra Qs him or something like that. So, there's a lot of variables that can impact this game, but I'm sure Tortugas hopefully know what they want to achieve here, and I think they buffed package again, or is that next patch? I always forget.
I think that's next patch, 10.
Well, yeah.
I want to say.
Even then, I think they like the last, changes they did to Corki was also a buff to package, which
True.
I guess that's Riot's way of saying we don't know how to balance Corki, so we're just gonna buff the shit out of package.
I don't think he's I don't think he's like OP or anything. I think he's honestly in a solid spot.
Yeah,
right
I don't know.
now.
He's not OP. I just think it's
Okay.
like in design sense. I think if a lot of your balance on one champion is like it's heavily pivoted by a passive, kind of like raises the question like, what's your identity with this champion, right? And I'm not saying Corki's a poorly designed champion. I just think
of course he would never.
in an aspect of like balance is like where Riot doesn't want to change anything other than the package portion. It's kind of raises the question like, oh well, is this a design flaw, question mark? But enough about my opinions on things, because generally I don't have any complaints with Corki. I think Corki's a cool character. He's just an old guy on a helicopter shooting rockets. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and cut to break. Stick with us, folks. It should be a couple minutes, but that gives you guys time to get some water. I was pretty excited game one. A lot of coin flip situations happened, so I'm sure we're here for a banger of a game. Hashtag live evil, and we'll see you guys shortly.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? It's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so
Welcome back, everybody. Back on the Rift for Game 2 of this Best of 3 series. We have Hypnotic Gaming on the red side, while we do have Tortugas on blue side. And something to note is that already they're looking for an interesting invade. I think they're just looking for that Pixel Brush ward that you drop at 50 seconds. Recall, get sweeper. Know the drill, and Karma already laying down the poke on top of Pants. But, wow, that's an early ward. I guess they had to. They don't want to get collapsed on, but you know, I think regardless, it'll see Kindred's pathing. I think unless they path from red, Krugs. Yeah, I don't know. Never mind. She can't avoid that ward. Unfortunate, guys. But, how are you feeling, Beatdown? How are you feeling about this game?
Well, one thing we didn't really get talk much about in Champ Select is kind of like the goals here of these squads. We talked about how, like, you know, how do you want to start fights if you're not a gaming? It's the unstoppable force. That's pretty much it. That's the way you start it off. On the other side, you have the Volley Bear. You have the Ash Crystal, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow once he hits level 6 to start off fights. But I think the thing we can talk about here is the scaling. Like we talked about it just before getting back on the air. Hash definitely going to outscale the Caitlyn later on into the game.
Oh, nice start coming out from Hypnotic Gaming here, but you know, Rakan's gonna be fine. You know, start a W.
It's gonna make that's pretty normal. He's gonna be able to. It's gonna be harder to
burn both bots, I think. Yeah, he has to burn both. Actually, maybe just one. But surprised they went for that. Maybe if Karma had Ignite, then they have Co-Pressure and are able to burn a Summoner. But, you know, hey, man. They didn't lose anything out of it, so it was worth a shot. But something to note is that Caitlyn is running cold. Wow, okay.
That's an interesting start.
That's like telling Pan saying, yeah, I don't respect you as an 80 carry player. I don't expect you to do anything. That's my.
To be fair, again, we talked about it. The Caitlyn Karma bot lane, it's just poke, staying at a distance. It is going to be a little hard for carry to be able to successfully get a grand entrance here. So I think that's the idea. And already at 15 CS, so is going to be able to complete that call pretty soon here. But like really quick, I wanted to touch on the points I was going to say earlier. It's about the scaling of these compositions here. Again, we were talking about it. The Ashe is going to outscale later into the game, and the Corki is just gonna it's gonna outscale pretty much everybody here. But it's gonna be hard if you
Apollo
lose your
with
life
the
first
blood. Did he get a stack off of that?
I think you can click on him and check.
Nope, he did not. He did not.
Well, he's about to get a stack right now, so that's
yeah,
okay.
He'll get a stack. But imagine if he had two beatdown. Oh my god, 2 stacks at 3 minutes. Oh,
that would be pretty insane. But you know what? It's still a good start.
Yeah, it's an alright start.
Yeah,
like he was like 3 seconds from the mark to activate on Corki. That's what I'm saying. I was like, man.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but you know, he gets first blood. We take those.
Yeah, exactly. Like you still take those because at the end of the day, Hypnotic Gaming are on a timer. Because if you talk about the scaling of that Corki into the late game, of the Ashe into the late game, once we get to that point, there's almost no coming back here. So you want to take whatever early advantages you can. You want to try to hit your item spikes as soon as you can and try to close out the game then and there.
Yeah. But, you know, so far things on the top side. As predicted, Mordekaiser having an advantage. But, you know, Fiora's, you know, doing pretty good. Nothing, you know, worth noting whether or not he's able to, you know, die in the sun. Yeah, he can, you know, get solo killed, but he's playing smart so far. So far, don't quote me on that. You know, these players can always make a mistake.
He's doing what he can.
Yeah. And Capitals is playing very aggressive in the mid lane here, zoning off Lux, trying to poke it down. You know, burning W to like get back into a reasonable distance. But I mean, I think that's kind of the best case scenario, right? Like Lux does not have enough AP to clear the minion wave, so the general plan is to, you know, shove her under her turret, force her to farm under turret, and you repeat, rinse, recycle that whole thingamajob.
I'm not quite sure that's exactly how it goes, but I see what you're getting at here.
Yeah.
See Random Capitals does manage to buy the tier already.
Ooh, nice grand entrance on top. You gotta be careful. Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, beat them. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, you're buying that tier early on, and you want to get that stacked as quickly as possible because the Muramana specifically is such a huge power spike for the Corki. So to get that tier stacking up as early as possible is the ideal scenario here. And hopefully, if you are Raleigh, since he's farming quite a bit now, he actually has a 10 CS lead against Apollo. Needs to try and make a play mid lane just to try and help get more gold on the random capitals, just so he can get that power spike sooner.
Yeah, definitely want to help out Corki as much as possible. Nice double grand entrance. Gonna be able to buy some time as they're gonna kite away. TV coming in through from the Malphite. Flash ultimate unstoppable force. Flashes over and dodges the Lux ultimate from Eden. And Ash is able to stay alive. So many resources burnt with no rewards reaped. Oh my. That was close. Like, Eden had the Lux ultimate lined up, and Pants just dodged. Oh. And now this Malphite is going to be so behind. If this Mordekaiser is good. Oh, and they burned Caitlyn's flash. Nicely done. You know, Malphite. Never mind. I don't think his wave is. I was going to say maybe Malphite could. Or not Malphite. Mordekaiser could freeze topside and end laning phase. But, you know, I don't think he's in a position to do so. So, my bad. But props to Tortugas on that one.
Yeah, that was really well played. They managed to get Hypnotic Gaming off of the Dragon as well. Threatening Lil Sejong in that bottom lane forces him to blow the flash. So having all the summoners except for the Ignite down for Tyrell's Tortugas was really huge, especially if Lil Sejong held onto that flash. But now since they managed to get it out, it kind of evens that out a little bit here. So only Bang Bus is going to have that available right now. And so far, if we look at the CS in that bottom lane, it's pretty much dead even at the moment as well. And unfortunately, Fiora, with the TP, is a little behind in that CS department, partially because of that teleport, partially because it's a Malphite into Mordekaiser. It's so hard to trade into him, and this is exactly why. It is just difficult.
Yeah, he's going to get bullied. Up to Apollo. Maybe Apollo can alleviate some of that pressure. But then again, Mordekaiser does have ultimate, so could always ult Apollo and make a 1v2 turn into a, you know, simple 1v1. So there's always that they have to consider. And right now, nicely done from Tortugas, shoving in the Caitlyn, who doesn't have an easy time, and that's very cheeky from Capitals. W's across, gets an angle, shoots the rocket, and interrupts Eden's back. Doesn't want to let her get a cheap recall, and now she's forced to stay with little to no mana here. And now Corki has the cheat recall. That, you know, it's the little things that Tortuga's doing right now.
Yeah, that's right, and that's honestly pretty rough. He's going to get the pickaxe as well, so his ability to trade is just going to be that much better too. It looks like, yeah, Eden is forced to recall here. The fact that Random Capital didn't stay means Eden's probably not going to lose too much, but as I say it, actually, Random Capital's is already back here. He actually has the package as well. And man, just look at that wave clear. It's unreal. He's going to shove that into the turret right away.
Yeah, Eden's not going to get any of it. I think she misses. Yeah, she might get the cannon.
Oh, no, actually, that's pretty lucky. It's targeting the cannon.
Yeah, she got it. Never mind. A little bit too slow on that Capitals. Nice grand entrance coming out from Rakan as they are going to be initiating. But going to peel away. Provide some. So the package from downtown, but it wasn't communicated. Capitals had a nice flank, but they weren't ready for the tower dive, and that's gonna be package burnt for nothing.
Yeah, that is a little unfortunate there. Not only that, Apollo's here.
Oh, Apollo's here on top of the Rakan, but they are diving the Malphite. Should be able to get the kill. Pulls into the death realm, I believe. And nice. No, they didn't even need to use the Mordekaiser ult. Nicely done. You know, they get a pick, might be able to get some plates, but yeah, I mean,
and this is a great scenario too for Tyrell Tortugas. Just look in the bottom lane, they tried to answer back with a play onto the top, and luckily, Carry managed to stay alive there. And even though they are going to get the dragon, that's going to be the first turret of the day. Because if you actually do the math, it does exactly 2 plates of damage. So really good use of the Rift Herald there from Raleigh to guarantee that first charge being the kill. And I think they're going to get that charge onto the tier 2 as well. So already making some serious headway onto Hypnotic Gaming side of the map. And if we look in the mid lane too, Random Capitals been looking so good so far on this Corki. He has built that mana immune, and he's starting to stack it up. And that is, again, the thing you want to look for on this Corki, that Mirror mana. And if you look at the Ashe in the bottom lane, has the Bilgewater Cutlass already, is building the 2 daggers, so you know she is going to go for that Blade of the Ruined King. While Lil Sejong, BF Sword, Agility Cloak, I believe Stormrazor could be Infinity Edge.
Ooh. That Ashe arrow was not an optimal place.
It was close.
You know, tips for those kids watching. You do not want to. I know it looks cool, and I know you probably watched like Worlds 2017 when, you know, they pulled that off. But, you know, half map shot across the map with Ashe arrow. Sure, it looks cool, but it's not practical, right? I wouldn't recommend going for it unless, you know, you're really confident. But even then, it's like you're kind of coin flipping. You're like, I hope this arrow hits, because if it does, you know, we get a lot out of it. But, you know, ideally, arrow is fine to use, you know, within a screen range, in my opinion. That's my opinion on it. But that being said, talking about, you know, that top turret, they do get first turret. My only thing is, and my only concern, is that you kind of just gave Malphite a, you know, get out of jail for free card, because now, you know, you can always just let the wave pushing into him unless Mordekaiser freezes. And as long as like the wave is nearby his second tier, that's so deep into Hypnotic Gaming's red jungle, right? So it forces Mowgli to be very, very scared of pressure on top side, because he's not sure whether or not you know, Apollo's there or if Eden's rotating. But you know, that's irrelevant, right? Because they're on bot side, and we see, you know, Volibear on top. Flash is on top, and he does force the Kindred ultimate Lamb's Respite, and trying to get the execute. He's gonna get kited out, and unfortunate here as Eden picks up the kill. 2 stacks on that Dark Seal, and they look for the stun. They get it on top. Kaylin gets the cleanse off as well. TP coming through, and it might be wasted here. Nothing much they can really force, as it was interrupted, I believe, by oh no, it's Corki's TP. It was interrupted by Lux. My apologies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, was it Mowgli? But Unstoppable Force is still up. But yeah, good cancel. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was a little bit mistimed anyway. So it just means now that Random Capitals is gonna hang out in the mid lane. I think he's gonna clear the Raptor camp as well, just to deny that mark from Apollo. And he's just gonna go back to clearing here. He has now a bit of a CS lead. We're looking at about 11 to 12 CS as he just continues to stack that Muramana. And if you look at Miss Eden, has Lost Chapter, has the Dark Seal too, and is likely trying to build up to that Luden's Echo. But let's look bot lane here. Lil Sejong is actually going to complete his first item. So it is going to be that Stormrazor.
Yeah, and so far Tortugas still has some breathing room, right? You know, Kindred, Apollo's only having 2 stacks, which isn't, you know, the power spike he wants on Kindred. He needs 4, get that range increase. It feels very nice on the champion, and it provides him a lot of agency. So with that, without having 4 stacks, you know, Apollo's kind of struggling out here in the jungle. But aside from that, I think Mowgli's very strong at the moment. Has the Leandries, is building a Zanya's, I believe. You know, which
could be. It's a little too soon to say, but likely a pretty solid item there, especially if the Mordekaiser's looking to go for all-ins. Yeah. But I guess we'll see where he wants to take that.
They look for the Sun on Karma. They have the TP from the Mordekaiser this time, and they are going to go ahead and death from the Karma. I think they'll get both kills. Nicely done. Misses the Q. Karma with the fancy feet should be able to get the kill regardless. Mowgli was a little worrisome, but is able to secure the kill on Bang Bus Driver. So that is a 2-for-0 in favor of Tortuga.
And that couldn't have come at a better time. The second dragon is about 15 seconds away. They have priority in that bottom lane, and with his wave clear, Random Capitals is going to have no problem getting priority in that mid lane as well. So it's going to be really hard for Hypnotic Gaming to contest this next Drake. We're going to see if they want to, or maybe consider try trading for that Herald on the other side of the map here. But it looks like they're walking their way down. They want to try and contest it, but I really don't think they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, definitely not. As the Rakan secures it, package goes through. Basically a Rumble ultimate lands, just by forced to go out as well. Mordekaiser pulling multiple members through, and that's going to be Kendra going to get taken out. Apollo and Eden falls as well, and they're turning their heads towards Liu Zhengyang, and the Ash able to get it, but a double kill for the Volley Bear. Unfortunate for Pants, actually burning both of his summoners, really banking for that kill, but you know, things happen in life. But overall, a huge win for Tortuga.
That it is. They tried to all in for that Drake on the side of Hypnotic Gaming, and unfortunately, they didn't have control of the pit, so I still think it would have been better to try and make a play for that Rift Herald, but it looks like they aren't going to get that chance here, and Tyrell's Tortugas instead are going to go into that pit. You're going to see Raleigh start off the Herald, and that's going to be the second Herald, and also the second tower. Mid-tier 1 is going to go down, and so far Hypnotic Gaming haven't managed to managed to take one down yet. But if you look, Miss Eden has completed that Luden's Echo. We have the Warrior Enchantment for this Kindred, but you probably want to build that Runon's Hurricane before she really starts to get effective into these team fights here. And that's pretty much what they're waiting for at this point. Lil Sejong is a bit strong now and could probably trade now that he has a Storm Razor and has a little bit of crit. But we're going to see how these next couple of minutes go, because so far there've been a decent amount of plays made bot side, and you can tell the Tortugas know that that's part of their win condition here. Get their bot side ahead and pretty much shorten the timer until they become unstoppable.
Well, right now, Lil Sejong is dirt poor. Like, that man has like, that man is like on financial right now. Yeah. And, you know, that's him even having Cole, right? He already finished his Cole. And, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think the Cole was a very ambitious move from him. Definitely did not work out in their favor. And Pants is in a wonderful position. Doesn't have any kills. But you're playing Ashe, right? You're playing this utility AD carry, the slows, you know, the arrow. That's fine. Like, she doesn't necessarily need kills. She still has a sustainable lead versus the Caitlyn right now. As the Rakons gets the Grand Entrance on top of the Lux, Eden forces a flash away, gets the root. Gonna go ahead and combo the ultimate as Kindred looking towards Capitals. As Corky's committing lots of damage as Raleigh gets the kill here. Nice save. Man, yeah, this game is looking very rough for Hypnotic Gaming. You know, the Kindred is, in my opinion, out of the game at the moment. Eden's holding up all right, but other than that, there's not a lot of strong members on the side of Hypnotic Gaming at the moment.
And that's right, because again, they haven't really reached the spikes that you're looking for the most part across the map here. Oh, and unfortunately, Fiora is forced to use that Unstoppable Force just to get away, so isn't going to have that for the next little bit here. You can see the Abyssal Mask has been completed for this Malphite. Yeah. But again, across the board, there's really nothing else to show for it here. Recurve Bow for Apollo. So that nice little bit of attack speed, but not quite up to that second item. And as the second Rift Herald drops, honestly, 3v2, they might be able to get it a little further.
Yeah, they don't have the Malphite ultimate. Disables the turret as well from Volley Bear. They get the kill on top of Fiora, and now they're turning towards Kindred. Eden able to get a nice Lux ultimate to do a little bit of damage here as Mordekaiser is forced to play out. Play it back out of the side here, and they do get the second tier turret. Mordekaiser forced to flash away. Mowgli on the run here as it looks like Carry is in a horrible situation. As we do see Raleigh getting picked off as well. Force the flash away. The Bear is running as fast as he can. A nice pull, but the Lux gets the shutdown off of Raleigh.
The
huge amounts of goal.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a
feels bad if I ever saw one here. And
that is a cool, guys. Do not look at it. The explosions.
Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, this bear got caught in one. And I think the worst thing, too, is that Lil Sejong couldn't actually be part of that fight. Because you might have noticed if you're looking at the map in the background, he got caught out by both Random Capitals and Pants here on this Ashe. So in that scenario, he got chunked really low, too, was forced to back into the base and heal up. And at this point, it's 4 turrets to 0 here. We're looking at a 6,000 gold lead, and you can see Tyrell's Tortugas are really making the use of it. The Muramana has completely been stacked here from Random Capitals. He has the Sheen and the Phage, so he is much, much closer to that Trinity Force. And That's pretty much the spike. That's going to be close to the nail in the coffin here. You know, once Corki gets his second item, once he builds a Trinity Force, once you get a second item onto Ashe, whether it's the Essence Reaver, or maybe you want to build more crit, or maybe a different crit item, we'll have to see. I think that's when you really start worrying if you're Hypnotic Gaming.
Yeah, and right now, Hypnotic Gaming, they have to let Tortugas take these objectives for free. They cannot contest it. They're not in a position to do so. And, I mean, Caitlyn has an agility code with Storm Razor. She does no damage. Like, none at all towards the side of Tortugas. They get to look for the pick on top of Apollo, but Gady has to run away. He's going to back out here. Nice binding.
He's going to try.
To get some damage. Yeah, I mean, Volibear does have ultimate available. They can look for the re-engage. They slam dunk on top of Kindred. Force the lands respite. And they take a lot of damage here. The heal's going through. And a lined up Lux ultimate gets Raleigh taken out here. As we do see the Mordekaiser's ultimate get canceled. I wasn't sure what happened, but... Okay, I don't know if it went out of range, but I saw the channel go through.
Yeah,
so.
maybe. But, you know, cooldown's still there. Doesn't actually get expended. So it could be a lot worse. And interestingly enough, we're actually going to see Raleigh build that Trinity Force. So he's going to go Cinderhulk immediately into that damage item because they're actually doing really well here. And this bear is going to do a lot more damage in this case. So when he goes for those autos, when he goes for that Thundering Smash, so it is going to make him a lot more dangerous. But then you can kind of see how he's a little squishier than you might expect. You have one snare and a final spark from Miss Eden. Means he's going to be hurt very much. And oh no,
Apollo's dead.
Yeah.
Good night.
Sweet Prince.
Yeah, that is a game of League of Legends Apollo's playing.
Yeah.
It's not the same League of Legends that Mobley gets to play.
No.
But regardless, they are both playing League of Legends.
Yes, that much we know for sure. And that the kill onto the jungler, and with how well Tortugas have positioned themselves, they can just immediately go for this Baron. Although the TP play is going to come out.
It's going to be the Malphite. Does have Unstoppable Force available. They get the stun. They need to cut away. He cannot get the ultimate off on the carries. Forced to play in the back of the pit. He goes for the Volibear, but Volibear secures the Baron, and now they're turning towards members of Hypnotic Gaming, but they need to back out. Ashe is very low in critical condition. But it's a win for Tortugas. They secure the Baron. They get their Baron recalls, and let's see what their next move is.
Well, I think at this point your move is to probably go for a bit of a split here. You can have Mordekaiser pressure in that side lane, probably look to secure that top tier 2 as it is very low, and you can just have the rest of the team push it down into the mid lane. You have exceptional wave clear with Corki, and even more so now that you have those Baron empowered minions. And we are, maybe I'm speaking a little too soon, Matsuda, but I think we're at this almost at the point of no return here. You see Corki has the Trinity Force, Ashe has the Runon's Hurricane. These are big power spikes you're reaching for the side of Tyrell's Tortugas, and it's going to be really hard to see how if they can actually manage to come back, because they're very likely going to lose an inhibitor here. But we're going to have to see how this next team fight goes, because it seems like they're just hanging back on the side of Hypnotic Gaming, just trying to clear the waves as much as they can, and it's actually Raleigh who's splitting in that side lane. Oh, they're actually going for a 1-3-1. They're going to have their Volibear top side and their Mordekaiser in the bottom.
Yeah, they can definitely go for this. You know, they have Baron buff, so they want to kind of spread eagle the side of Hypnotic Gaming and force their hand while they just get these free objectives. And you know, Corki's starting to build that Infinity Edge, and at that point, that is that is one strong Corki you got to deal with. As we did see Raleigh going for a bit of a trade, forcing the Unstoppable Force, gonna go ahead and forcing the flash from the Malphite, and now that's a fair trade. You know, Raleigh only burns his ultimate for a flash off of the top laner on the side of Hypnotic Gaming. We take those.
Oh yeah, and that's definitely a hashtag worth situation right there. And yeah, and it seems like they have pretty much synced up the waves here for the side of Tortugas, and this is great because now there's just so much pressure across the entire map here. But unfortunately,
getting cut out. Nice Ashe ultimate, able to buy some time, and the flash from Raleigh divides him from his team, forcing Corki to hop over the wall, gets the kill on top of Lil St. Jong. and now they're journeying towards top lane turret. They are able to get it, maybe looking for the inhibitor as well, as we do see Mordekaiser rotating towards the mid lane. Gonna go ahead and maybe look to get that mid lane turret. No one's tending to it at the moment. And we do see slowly chunking it down, but no wave available for the Mordekaiser, forced to run away. But man, this is like Hypnotic Gaming are at their knees at this point. And let me check Kindred stacks. Apollo's sitting at a whopping 25 minutes in.
Yeah, and then it's because some of those plays like Mowgli waiting in the bush by the blue buff to basically just absolutely pop Apollo. At this point, he's been receiving so much pressure in his side of the jungle that it's hard for him to actually get the stacks. And when they show up on Tortuga's side of the jungle, it doesn't even have to be Rowley. Like anybody nearby, it's like, we're clearing that camp. You're not getting that stack. And it's just making it so much harder for Apollo to play the game right now. And getting that top inhibitor means there's no chance they can get this dragon. That is sole point here for Tortugas, who are 11k gold ahead. I think at this point, one more good fight might just end the game here.
Yeah, potentially. And they have the power spikes available for them, And I'm not sure what Hypnotic Gaming does here, right? I think they need to look for an ultimate where Malphite lands.
And live.
Yeah, and survive. But I think primarily just hit Corki and Ashe with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even then, who's going to follow up? That's the pressing issue, is like, who on Hypnotic Gaming is going to follow the Malphite? Maybe the Lux, but Lux is mostly playing from the back of the team fight, fishing for bindings. Caitlyn can't get too up close either. At this point, not a lot of answers available for red side here.
It's hard. The idea is going to have to be, unfortunately, the only one who can really match this Mordekaiser is Fiora here on this Malphite. But unfortunately, even he can't do that. The Death Realm is going to come out, and I think that's a dead Malphite.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, no. Oh, he has a flash for it, and he's still dead here. Not the smarter move, but a nice enchanted arrow coming out. So much damage coming out from the side of Tortugas. That was a clean ace. I don't even know what happened. But Capitals just shredded the entire front line of Hypnotic Gaming like it was a minion wave at that point.
Yeah, the damage is absolutely unreal, and we talked about it. This was the timer for Hypnotic Gaming, and they couldn't afford to let Tortugas get this strong, but that's exactly what happened. A much shorter game than before, 28 minutes. Tortugas take the second win.
Yeah, nicely done from the side of Tortugas. Able to 2-0 Hypnotic Gaming, where a lot of people were expecting these, returning champions of, Risen Unstoppable to, make them run for their money here. But, Tortugas putting on a really good show. Game 2, they definitely had, a little bit more optimal draft.
Sure.
And Capitals just, he did his job. Mowgli did amazing as well, top side of the map here. But, this is a tragedy for Apollo, playing Kindred, a champion so reliant on tempo and snowballing, and he just couldn't find an opening. He just couldn't find a window, and ultimately paired that up with, Caitlyn disrespecting the Ashe with a cold. Oh,
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I really don't think that was like the biggest issue there. They were pretty even in farm. That what really started the way Tortuga started running away with this game is their jungler spent a lot of time making plays bottom lane. It's like you said in the draft select, Masuda. It takes a little time for Kindred to become a champion. Volibear's a champ, level 3. Bam. He's able to make plays around the map, and he did. He managed to get a lot of extra gold into Pants' pocket on this Ashe, allowed him to scale much better than Lil Sejong. And of course, we have random capitals on this Corki. Outscales everybody in the lobby. And it is hard because the way this draft ended up going for Hypnotic Gaming was that when you draft the Malphite, you want to try and knock up squishy targets. But when you have a Volibear, when you have a Malphite, it's really hard for you to actually get the right people. And when you have the poke of a Lux, a Karma, a Caitlyn, that's all really cool. But if they can poke you just as badly, if not worse, especially once Corki gets 2 to 3 items, it doesn't even matter. It's like, yeah, you can poke, but Corki pokes way harder.
Yeah. And, I think Hypnotic Gaming had other options. I don't think their mid laner plays Azir. Maybe they're not confident on it, but Corki Azir is a classic lane where if I
But
recall
usually you pick
correctly,
Corki
it's
into Azir
yeah,
because
it's
the better
but it's
match.
still it's a better matchup than picking Lux though,
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah, I'll give
Because
you that.
because at least Azir can like make some plays on the map. Lux is and I'm not pinning this one on Eden,
Sure.
but I'm saying, the draft that they pull out here is, you have these poke, you have a poke bot lane, your mid lane isn't essentially built to, start these fights. Your only initiation is the Malphite, and you have a Kindred who's kind of, playing based off engage as well. So I think in terms of draft, I think Hypnotic Gaming were lacking, either another frontliner or another, someone to participate in the fight, like at the start, right? Something to
Mhm.
follow up with the Malphite, which I think, either Azir or, anything other than the Lux works, right? But, with that being said, uh, congratulations to Tyrell's Tortugas with a whopping 2-0 over Hypnotic Gaming. Uh, very good start for week 1 on their side, and very excited how they progress throughout the season. Is this the end for Hypnotic Gaming? We'll just have to see next week whether or not they're able to, bounce back. It is week 1. Maybe they got food poisoning and they're feeling a muck. Things can happen, but as always, shout out to Risen. Letting us cast these games. Always a pleasure to cast. Shout out to our producer, Mikey. Good work out there as well. And nope, it was fun casting with you, Beatdown. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, same to you.
But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. I would like to thank those who watched throughout the series. It has been Matsuda, and yeah. Anything else you want to add, Beatdown?
No, I think we're good.
All right. With that being said, we will see you guys next week, and I hope you guys tune in next week. I'm sure COVID-19, right? I'm sure we have nothing better to do than watch some good old League of Legends. So stay safe out there, everyone, and much love. See you guys later.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun.